Hello, everyone. This is JPL, and today I'm joined with
Jay here.
yes, and we are podcast name in brackets. If you're confused about who Jay is, he's Matthew, but we also have the other podcast, Binging Barbie, and he goes by Jay over there. So you know, uh, reasons.
Well,
You
we'll
know,
figure it out.
we'll figure it out. Doesn't matter. No, we all have different names and nicknames. Matthew was just something you came up with that one time we needed to do something.
Yeah,
Um,
way back in high school.
way back in high school. But anyway, Jay, you like films, do you?
What, me?
You? What?
Yeah, I just watched recently my relevant because of the year we're recording this, my 2023 movie on Letterboxd.
Congratulations.
So
That's
2023, Sofia Coppola's Somewhere.
I get you had to wait a whole year to do the next film, I
Yeah,
guess,
yeah.
if you want to keep going with that routine.
Man, and I was good to see something later this week. Oh well.
Oh well, you can't do it now. At least don't put it on Letterboxd.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, we like films. We grew up with films. This whole podcast series started with films. But yeah, before a film comes out, we have to get a trailer. Trailers are our first glimpse of what a future film is going to be like. Back in the older days, that's how you knew a film was coming out. We didn't have the ability to just look up on their social medias and they would announce, "Hey, we're working on this film." We didn't have all the leaks that we do today. It was
Yeah.
just much more. You knew a film was happening when the trailer came out, and yeah, so trailers are important. They have to juggle the task of showing you enough of the film, telling you somewhat what the film is about, while also getting the right tone for the film, while also making it entertaining to watch. So they're juggling all of these things, and people like different aspects about trailers. Like Jay, what do you like in a movie trailer?
I like a good song
Hmm.
used well and integrated well. I think that's, for me, it's the song and the visuals are what tie it all together. But as we'll go through my list, there are different things that I enjoy in depending on genre and that kind of thing.
Yeah. I think when just looking through the selection of what I've liked, um, I think music is very important, and not just finding a good music choice, being able to match the editing to the music.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that helps create a fun tone. We'll talk about a film later where the film's tone didn't match the music, but the trailer did a good job at making it feel like it was.
Yeah.
Um, Also, showing enough but not too much of the trailer. I don't like having too much in a trailer. I don't like having too much story being revealed to me. So, just getting me a good enough glimpse to see what it is, maybe a little bit of a concept of what the film is going to be like, but nothing too much.
Yeah.
Uh,
I've actually stopped almost completely watching second trailers because I figure if the first trailer didn't sell me on it, the second trailer probably won't. If the first trailer did sell me on it, then I don't necessarily want to know too much more information going in. You know,
yeah,
the point of the trailer is to sell the movie. So if I'm sold, why would I watch the trailer? No, it does
sure.
make me look like a lunatic when I'm sitting in the theater and closing my eyes to not see the trailer, but oh well.
Yeah. I mean, I also really like just the initial teaser trailers
Yeah.
because they're usually the shortest ones. I think the really good ones are about like 60 seconds long. There's not a whole lot to really do, so they give you just a really cool tone and
Yeah.
such. They don't show you a whole lot. It's just to get you interested. But anyway, yeah, today we're doing a podcast about our top 7 favorite film trailers that we've watched. Um, and like these could have different histories between the two of us. We both have very different things that we like about films. Me, I typically stick to things that I'm familiar with or I know, but sometimes if a trailer is good enough, that could intrigue me. Megan is a good example. In
Yeah.
that there was just a scene that they showed in the trailer that made me intrigued to watch the film. So that's the importance of a trailer, just to get you interested. But yeah,
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, why don't we start with this list with number 7, starting with you, Jay?
Yeah. So I should preface mine finding seven best trailers. I had a list of like at least three times that I was trying to whittle down. So I kind of tried to choose trailers that have do different things well. Um,
Hmm.
so this first one here, this is the teaser trailer for Avatar: The Way of Water, and th- I have an interesting history with this one. So this trailer premiered in front of the second Doctor Strange movie, and it was a whole huge big deal right before the movie was coming out of, hey, there's going to be this new trailer for the new Avatar movie that, it's been 12 years since the first one, or 11 years, or whatever. It's been a while since the first one. Um, so what is this going to look like? And so went to go and see Doctor Strange opening night and watched the trailer, and I was like, oh, that's it? I was a little bit disappointed. Well,
Yeah.
I happened to a little bit later, I was like, hey, I want to see Doctor Strange again, and I kind of want to see it in 3D. So I went to an IMAX 3D showing and saw the Avatar trailer in the full IMAX 3D, and it immediately sold me on the movie. Same trailer, nothing had changed, just the way it builds tone and shows you the world and these characters, and it's showing off the incredible visual effects that just look so good. Um,
Hmm.
the lighting, the shading, everything is just 10 out of 10 there. And it's very much selling this sort of more contemplative, more epic tone of this trailer. And you get wonderful shots, especially of the water, and there's this giant whale creature that ends up being very important in the film that gets spotlighted a couple times. And yeah, I don't know, it's just, and there isn't much dialogue, so it's just kind of tone and setting and world that it's throwing you into. Not much plot to go off of, so it's just the visuals that really sold it for me.
Yeah, which really speaks to the Avatar series in general. They're a high visual films. Like they
Yeah,
have the best visual effects. They want to show off the look of the films. I wouldn't. I don't say that this trailer did anything for me in particular. I'm not really the biggest fan of Avatar, so it doesn't
yeah,
really mean much to me. But yeah, it is a well-made trailer. It doesn't show a whole lot of the story. There's barely any dialogue, only towards the end. But it does a really good job at showing you the different visuals of the film, and it does look pretty, but it's just not my thing.
yeah. And I mean, as I said, trailer didn't work for me until I saw it IMAX 3D. That's when it really the because the pacing of it is very slow, which
Right.
you think, okay, well, this isn't very exciting, but in the IMAX 3D, it actually the slow pace, it just kind of draws you into it. And
Mm.
actually, I've watched other trailers since I went to see Avatar quite a few times at IMAX 3D. Whatever they would do, like the Ant Man and the Wasp trailer, which wasn't a phenomenal trailer to begin with, but the pacing of it in 3D it was too quick. You didn't get a sense for the visuals or anything. So yeah,
Yeah.
it is definitely, they knew what they were doing. They knew you watch it on your computer at home and you're like, that's it. You go to the theater and see it in 3D and you're like, oh, okay, now I understand.
Right. Yeah. And so we move on to my number 7, which is the
Yeah.
film Joker. Uh, and this, we'll have to go back a little bit in time to talk about this one in particular. And it's that before the film came out, I was very skeptical about the film. Me, I'm a big fan of the Joker character in DC, and so we just had the Suicide Squad with Jared Leto as the Joker. but now we're getting this standalone Joker film with Joaquin Phoenix. Like, what's this? Why are we getting this? And what's it gonna be like? And so at this point, um all that we have had was just like a test footage of him in the makeup. And I remember seeing the first time I saw that makeup, I was like, I don't know about it. But the more I looked about it and the more I thought about the inspirations for the characters, the music choice that we utilized in the test footage, the more I thought, maybe this could be something. And so then we get this trailer. And yeah, at the same time, where I watched it the first time, I'm like, I'm not sure about this. But the more I rewatched the trailer, I paid close attention to the Joaquin's acting in certain scenes, and I'm like, oh, okay, that looks like something that seems more like Jokerish. And the trailer does a good job at setting up the tone of the film. I think pretty much the tone matches the film for the most part, and the way it looks and everything. Um, but also it does a good job of building up to looking at the final look of the Joker's costume, and it
Yeah.
does a really good job at the reveal that actually the film drops the ball in the reveal, because there they have some sort of weird pop song playing when we finally get to see that moment of the film. But like the way that the trailer presents it, yeah, no, that was like a really interesting moment to see it in motion there. So yeah, that's why I liked this trailer when it came out.
Yeah, I mean, I also remember this one coming out and being very excited to see what was going on with this.
Mhm.
And yeah, this is a very iconic moment in pop culture. This sort of new interpretation, and Joker goes on to become the first R-rated film to gross $1 billion at the worldwide box office. So they were successful in marketing it for a very interesting and odd film to be that successful.
Yeah, and like this trailer here like is what sold me, and like, okay, I think I might like this film. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was pretty cool. So moving on.
Yeah, now we have one that is maybe a little bit odd. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this because we didn't talk about it when we watched it, but
uh
I'm going with the global trailer for 50 Shades of Grey. Now, I think you need to step back from your preconceived notions of the film and of the franchise and of the books.
sure.
And when you take it on that level, first off, the visuals are spectacular. Just sort of everything looks very sharp and the camera movement is very smooth. But what really sells this trailer is the music. This features Beyonce's Crazy in Love, sort of this slower, kind of almost ominous version of it. Kind of sells this as sort of like an erotic thriller more than a romantic drama, which is what the actual movie is. But yeah, it's just something about the way the song gets integrated and all of the visuals are so interesting. And yeah, the it's building up to this very sort of surprising moment, not something you expect from a Green Band trailer. But yeah, I don't know, I just, again, the song I think is what brings it all together. Really, this really great song that is elevating something to something more than the movie itself is actually. Yeah, it is a much better trailer than it is a movie.
Sure. I think the only interesting part that I found in the trailer was like maybe the first 30 seconds,
Okay.
where it was setting up more of like, oh, the mystery and intrigue about this. But once they pulled back the curtain a bit to reveal the what we eventually get in the series, that's like, oh, okay. Well, now the rest of the trailer is not as interesting, and that's like the rest 90 seconds where you get that music thing. It's like, oh, okay. I don't really care about the rest of this, so
Okay.
it lost me once we
Yeah.
got like even the subject matter really
Not
loses
your
me as well.
favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, Like if I'm not at all interested in the subject matter, I'm immediately out of the film.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm not out of it. And that happens a few times with some of the rest of your trailers as well. So,
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I chose trailers that are a little bit further off the beaten path, but I hope I can articulate why I find them interesting.
no, no, you did. You did.
Yeah.
You did a good job at articulating. I don't care. That's the best
This
way
is
I can
not one of
articulate.
the franchises you're invested in.
No, it's not.
Neither am I, to be fair. I just find the trailer to be really fascinating.
Yes. And the next trailer that I have to talk about in this list is from 2016 Suicide Squad. The trailer in question is the second trailer, the one with Bohemian Rhapsody song in it.
Yeah.
Um, so there's two trailers really to this film. The very first trailer, which was much more darker, eerie,
Somber.
somber, mysterious as well. And then they have this one, which is like, oh, it's lots of fun, flashy, well edited together. Um, Something that the film was not intended to be.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, the audience loved this trailer so much. Let's change the film to be more like the trailer.
Not only that, do you know what they did? They brought in the company that made the trailer to edit the film,
Oh, okay.
which is entirely different art forms. This is one of the best trailers ever made, just in terms of taking something that just didn't had I don't know. I guess we don't know what the director's cut of this would be, but taking something and turning it into something very, very different, and taking this sort of darker, somber. You can even see with the visual style, they don't do anything to that. And just
Right.
turned it into like poppy and colorful and fun and exciting.
And that's really all in the editing and the music choice.
Yeah.
I actually really liked the first trailer when it came out. I thought it was like, oh, it's interesting and eerie. Uh, I also enjoyed this one, but I am very curious about what that first film would have been like. And I think that derailing this film to be more like the trailer was not the best choice
Yeah.
overall. So
To be fair, I don't know, based on what is in the film, I don't know if the other version of the film would have been particularly good either. But yeah, the trailer, you can definitely see where it's kind of clashing with the tone, with the intended tone, where
yeah,
that kind of
yeah. I'm not really the biggest fan of the Suicide Squad overall. Not in terms of the film, but just like the
yeah.
whole group itself. I think they're a bit overrated, and they have not been done properly at all. The closest is the James Gunn version, but then they botched that one somehow towards the end.
I thought the James Gunn version was pretty close to perfect, but
Except for the final act, that's really
okay.
where they go wrong. But let's not get into that. Let's get
Well,
in.
I did want to mention that because that one also has a couple excellent trailers that are actually more representative of the tone of the final product. But yeah, we can move on to
Yeah, we can move on.
my number 5 here. Now, this is one, and when we were watching these trailers, I told you before this one as a preface, you have
Ah,
to go in with it in your mind that this is a trailer for a film that starts out, the first 30 minutes are this brutally violent killing spree that this character is going on, and the rest of the film, the like last hour and 45 minutes, are this like weird drama about a son reconnecting with his father. But there's more stuff going on there. I don't want to get into spoilers. This is, of course, the trailer for Titan, the Palme d'Or winner from 2021. A very, very odd film, and one that is very, very difficult to market. Because, like I said, the first 30 minutes are a horror movie. The
mhm.
rest of it is not a horror movie, it's a drama. how do you market that? And this trailer is put together by Neon, who are a distributor. They did a bunch of huge indie films like Parasite. They do a lot of international distribution as well, and they are just really, really good at trailers. Where you'll find a because they're taking weird films,
Right.
international films that audiences don't necessarily have context for, and they have to market them and sell them. And Neon is always very good. Well, almost always. There's probably a few examples where they aren't, but of selling weird tones. And this is, I think, their biggest sort of triumph on that part. It's a trailer that has all of these different conflicting tones, but and watching it the first time through, I'm like, what's going on with this trailer? What's how does this cohere into a movie? Then I watch the film and it's like, oh, the trailer is doing exactly what the film is doing. It is perfect marketing. Its oddity is just because the film is so odd.
Hmm. I can't really speak into specifics. Um, I think I don't know why they kept showing the dancing girl over and over
So
again.
the dancing girl is the protagonist of the first part of the film.
Right, but why did they keep showing the shit almost the same scene over and over again? You get it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know what to say. Sure, you said it most.
Yeah. And this isn't even a film I particularly care for. It's just the trailer does such a good job. And I think it's true also of like the Parasite trailer, which I think you've seen
Mhm.
both the trailer and the film for that one. Where that one is also very difficult because it's a dark comedy that turns into like a dark thriller. How do you
Mhm.
sell that? Well, the trailer actually does a pretty good job of selling that. So yeah, just really impressive job from the marketing team over at Neon in taking a very, very odd film and actually marketing it in a way that is true to the tone, or tones plural, because it's a very odd film.
Well, okay then. So moving on to my number five, we have the first initial teaser trailer from Star Wars: The Force Awakens. A
Yeah.
teaser that came out over a year before the film was released. Um, and like this one, really to explain it, you have to go all the way back to 2014 before everything else that
Yeah.
came out afterwards. Um, because yeah, I don't get the same reaction I do now than I did when I watched that trailer. But yeah,
Yeah.
at that point, it had been like 30 some years since we've had the original cast of Star Wars come back. It had been almost 10 years since the last Star Wars film. Um, we're all intrigued to see what Disney's going to do. And they had to do a really good job at selling us into the new Star Wars. And so this teaser trailer doesn't show us a whole lot, just shows snippets of it. I remember when the trailer dropped and I started watching it, I didn't know it was the trailer. I was like, what is this weird fan film thing going on? But then I caught on and it was the real trailer and I was like, oh my gosh. I remember everyone was so excited for this trailer when it came
Yeah.
out. I was like, oh my gosh, Star Wars. Ah! Um, 1,000 YouTube reaction channels started because of these trailers. Um, but yeah, this was just one of those things where it was wholesome. Everybody was so happy and excited. We were all confused about the crossguard lightsaber. Like there were so many discussions of like, what the heck is that? What's with the weird lightsaber crossguard thing? That's silly. Why is it all vibrating and shaking like that? What's going on? I don't know. But like the music was cool and epic. We were trying to figure out what it was. Um, and it's really the last time where everybody was fully excited about Star Wars. Because since then, no matter what your opinions about each of the films or TV shows are, we're not as united as we once were, or if we really were. now it's like much more. It's much more aggressive than it once was.
Yeah.
So it's a
Yeah.
shame. But I remember I would have it in my daily routine to watch this trailer 3 times before I went to school. It was a thing. I was really excited.
Yeah.
Now not so much, but you know.
Yeah. This came out 9 years ago.
I
9 years.
yeah, I can't believe that.
Almost a decade.
Mm.
And yeah, it is a reminder of, back when I was still a Star Wars fan and like seeing the Millennium Falcon and X Wings with modern VFX and seeing these new characters and wondering who are these people gonna be?
What
What's
is
this
that?
story gonna be? Yeah.
Yeah, what's going on? Why is there a soccer ball? It's like
Yeah. Yeah, and I just remember being extremely excited for what was going to come next.
yeah, I don't think there has been any other trailer or teaser trailer from Star Wars that came after this that has had the same level as intrigue or excitement. Like
Yeah.
this just had the history of not having Star Wars in live action for a long time. So
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there are many trailers in general that have gotten this level of excitement since then. Like,
no,
the only thing I could think of that would come close is Avengers Endgame, but none of those trailers were. I mean, that was essentially, they just marketed it as it's the next Avengers movie. Of course you're going to see it. We don't need to show anything.
right. I mean, around this time they also released the trailer for Age of Ultron, and that was actually a pretty cool trailer. The
Yeah.
film wasn't as cool, but it was like, oh, look at that, we got the Hulkbuster armor. Oh, the music is interesting. Ultron seems like an interesting villain.
Yeah.
Um, they also had the first trailer for Jurassic World as well.
Yep.
So this thing was like hitting on the different properties before we have today stuff,
Yeah.
as it were.
Yeah. 2014 and 2015. You also had like the Mad Max trailers. Those were all
Oh
pretty
yes,
good.
that's right, Mad Max.
So yeah, next up, I wanted to have a comedy trailer in here, but of course, me being me, I went with the oddest comedy out there.
Hmm.
I chose the first trailer for The Favorite, the 2018 period dark comedy. Um, yeah, it's an odd trailer for a very odd film. It's sort of chaotic and weird, and you get
Very.
a really good sense though for like the visual style of it, the fisheye lenses, and all of the costumes are entirely black, white, and gray. In fact, I think
Hmm.
most of them are just black and white. And yeah, you're also getting hints at what this is going to be of like Olivia Colman's spectacular Oscar-winning performance, and yeah, just weird oddness. There's Olivia Colman saying, I ordered some lobsters. I thought we could race them and then eat them. And then it immediately cuts away. No context for that scene. Um, Rachel Weisz telling Olivia Colman that she looks like a badger, and of course cuts back to her, and she does look like a badger. I don't know. It's what I want from a comedy trailer, which is just show me that this is funny without ruining all of the best jokes.
Right, sure. And this trailer is only 60 seconds long,
Yeah,
and they go through a lot of stuff in the trailer. And it's like, huh, there, you don't need 3 minutes of a trailer to get the point across. You could do it
yeah,
just like this.
yeah. And again, there's so much in the film that just isn't in the trailer. There's no plot in the trailer. And there is a second trailer that is also very good that gets a little bit more into that. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, just again, this sold me on the film right away, and the tone and the weirdness of it. And yeah, it's one of my favorites, both the trailer and the film itself. So
Hmm.
always fun to go back and watch that one.
Yeah. And moving on to my number four, I have the the announcement trailer for Dunkirk. It's that very first teaser trailer, 60 seconds long. It doesn't show you a whole lot, just a bunch of different static shots, but with the good ticking sounds of some somewhat high tension music, somewhat that just builds up to the final shot of the soldiers just chilling on that mole. And then you hear the sound of a plane coming and them all ducking, and it's like it shows you just the visuals, which looked very good at the time, and just the tension, which did a really good job and intrigued me right from the get go. It was like, okay, now I'm intrigued by this.
Yeah, no, Nolan is one of the people who, I mean, as Oppenheimer showed, he could do a trailer that is basically just a clock counting down and get people excited. And
Mm-hmm.
this is really the start of that for him in terms of just being such a strong brand that people will immediately get excited for whatever he does. Yeah, this is, I mean, everything about this trailer, the very sparse production of it, the visuals, and then it's honestly probably almost as much text as it is actual shots from the film,
Yeah,
just time wise.
yeah, there's a lot. I had to do a school project where I had to edit the audio. I had to create
Yeah,
my own audio for this trailer and make it sound different. And so I noticed while I was out editing, it's like, man, there's just so much black text compared to actual shots. It was very interesting. It made it easy to actually do this project as well. But it was like, I'm taking a risk by doing this, and it paid off. I did something really weird with it. So,
yeah,
but yeah, it is a very striking teaser trailer that just having no idea what this was, just it sold me maybe just by the final shot alone with the soldiers on the beach waiting for the plane to come in. It's like, oh, okay. I understood the absolute terror of that. It's like, I'm intrigued by this. So
yeah,
the film paid off for the most part. It's not the best Nolan film out there, but it was good.
yeah. You can go over to our Binging Barbie podcast if you want to hear full thoughts on Dunkirk. I think we talked about it for an hour and a half, something
Yeah,
like that.
and the rest of our thoughts on Nolan as well.
Yeah, yeah.
If you like Barbie, there's that too,
And Monster High.
and Monster High,
And Megan.
Mo- and Megan. Moving on to number three.
Yeah, so this trailer is just another iconic trailer. We've talked a lot about trailers that came out, a year in advance of their film or more. This is a trailer that came out months before the film. This was the first most people had even heard of it because the production was kept pretty secret. This is the first trailer for 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, just incredible tone setting. We start with these three characters. It honestly looks like a house.
Mm-hmm.
And they're playing board games and doing puzzles and reading books and watching TV and just kind of doing normal everyday life things. And then the music kind of starts to get a little distorted and things start shaking and everything just kind of starts getting more and more tense. And yeah, you have John Goodman, who is doing incredible, playing this character that's kind of very short fuse, and you see this in the trailer, the way he's responding to things, and as it goes on, things are getting more and more ominous, and then you get the
Mm-hmm.
reveal that they aren't in a house, they're in a bunker that's underground. And Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who plays the protagonist, attacks John Goodman and tries to escape, and he warns her that if she leaves, they'll all die.
Yeah. No. This was a really good trailer when it came out. I was like very intrigued by this film, by this trailer. And it also really helps in that we had no idea what this thing was, but
Yeah,
the only thing that we had was the name Cloverfield in the title, which made people think, "Oh, is this the sequel to that one other Cloverfield film?" Because like the film also uses that to their advantage in the marketing, in
Yeah.
that Cloverfield's the first name, and then you get the 10 lane coming in afterwards. So it's like, oh. And so I found it very interesting because when I think of Cloverfield, I think, oh, it's that monster found footage film. And here, it's the complete opposite. It's like, oh, we're not getting any visual hints at a monster or not. It's just them together in this thing. It's really weird. I'm actually really interested in this. So yeah, no, I really enjoyed the film.
Yeah. Now, unfortunately, the international trailer is one of the worst trailers I've seen because it gives away the final twist of the movie.
Yeah, you can't be doing that.
Yeah, I was very disappointed. I did my best to avoid it, and then it was playing in a theater, and at that point, I didn't know to look away. And
Hmm.
so I saw the final twist, and then I had to watch Batman versus Superman immediately after because that's the movie we were going to see.
I did not
Oh
get that
man,
trailer for Batman v Superman when I watched that film. Interesting. I would have remembered, but
yeah, because I didn't see it like opening week. I saw it a couple weeks later,
oh,
and then the actual 10 Cloverfield Lane, because that was when the big earthquake happened. So the theaters were shut down for a month when it was supposed to come out.
oh,
So I was
okay.
like, when I finally got to see it, it's like, oh man, I had it all ruined for me. Oh well. It still works very well as a film, and it's one
Hmm.
of my favorites of that year. But
I mean, I was expecting the ending because I was waiting for that connection to the Cloverfield film, but yeah, no, it still did a really good job to the plot twist. But this is not about the film. This is about the
yeah, yeah,
trailers. And that being said, good trailer, doesn't show a whole lot. International trailer, not so much. But moving
yeah,
on to my number three is the trailer to Godzilla King of the Monsters. This is the first initial trailer. Honestly, like even the trailers for the 2014 Godzilla film are really good. The Halo one, when they were jumping out of the plane, that
oh
was
yeah,
a really fantastic one. Great. But I'm choosing this one because music, music really sold this trailer. They use Claire de Lune, and it really helped with the absolute scale and immensity and the emotion of these giant monsters. I could care less about whatever dialogue was going on, but this film just had a lot of really good, pretty looking shots. It was like, the music is matching the beautifulness of that. I really liked this trailer because of that.
yeah. It's a fantastic trailer, and I always forget how many people are in this. Like Vera Farmiga, Kyle Chandler, Sally Hawkins, Charles Dance, like
Mm,
Bradley Whitford, like all of these people. I'm like, oh yeah, I know these people from other stuff. David Strathairn, like yeah, watching this trailer, it's always a reminder of, oh yeah, I need to rewatch this at some point, even just for the actors who I recognize, but also
yeah.
for the movie, which is by my recollection better than it could have been.
Sure. I mean, yeah, that's typically how it goes. Um, but yeah, no, this was I actually wasn't even expecting the trailer to come out when it did. I didn't even know that they were making the film. Or I did know, but like I didn't know it was happening this soon. And so when the trailer dropped, I was like, "Oh my goodness, look at that! There's the
Yeah,
trailer. It looks so cool. I can't wait." I was super excited. Um, but yeah, like I said, a lot of the Godzilla trailers just do a really good job at selling these monsters and just doing a really good tone. And like I said, the initial trailer with the Halo jump of the 2014 film also really good.
yeah,
Moving on.
yeah. Next up, we have. I mean, just again, these are my favorite trailers. These last two are top tier for me, just cut above the rest. This is the teaser trailer to The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the 2011 David Fincher version. And I mean, what a trailer. just no plot, no dialogue whatsoever. It is just the song, the immigrant song cover by Karen O, Trent Reznor, and Atticus Ross.
Mhm.
And it's this dark and violent song that's played over these very, very quick cut images that are building a narrative. We're kind of seeing it's a car pulling into this estate with these mansions around it. And then in between that, we're seeing all of these different shots from the film. And there's even things like there's mini narratives like Daniel Craig pulling down his glasses as he's looking at pictures, and it's all just incredibly well made to sell the tone of this without giving anything away. And just the visuals of it, the sound especially as well, is just the song is kind of increasing in intensity, and there's a bit of distortion in there as well. That yeah, it's just it's so good, and the film actually matches it. I just recently rewatched it, and it is a nearly 3 hour film that feels like a 2 hour film. Like it's just so incredibly well paced, and yeah, a very dark film, I should say. It is not for everyone, but
Mhm.
again, if you watch this trailer and you're intrigued by it, it's like yeah, it's worth checking out the film because it is such a good encapsulation of the film.
Sure. I will say I wasn't a fan of just how quick the cuts were.
Okay.
That just, I don't know. I'm not a really big fan of like quick cuts that are just, and even just like the entire trailer is just quick cut, quick cut, quick cut, quick cut.
Yeah.
And I get it. I get it. It's interesting, yeah, but it's not. I don't like that.
Okay. Oh, you also get the tagline, the feel bad movie of Christmas, which what a
Sure.
tagline. I don't think it sold them any tickets cuz who's going to go and see the feel bad movie of Christmas, but yeah, I can definitely see if you aren't a fan of the quick cutting, it is a lot of that, but it fits with the song so well that
I no, I got that. I could tell
yeah.
that's what they were doing, but that would not have been the choice I would have made when making this trailer. That being said, I am glad that there wasn't heavy dialogue. It was just the visuals. Maybe there was just too much visuals and cutting, but
Yeah.
that's
The
just
next trailer for this is actually 3 minutes of almost entirely plot and dialogue, and it's
oh like I have a thing to say about that, but
oh, okay.
that's I'm getting ahead of
Oh
myself.
no, the next girl with the dragon tattoo trailer,
Oh, okay,
not
no,
not the not the next trailer on the list.
all right, well, whatever. Speaking of the next trailer on the list, let's move on to my number two, and that's the first trailer for the film Logan. So just keep in your mind at this point, like we're used to just like superhero films, like yeah, they have a certain tone, they're actiony, they're just fun to have, and then there's this trailer that pops up for this Old Man Logan film, and you have a Johnny Cash song playing, and it's like it's all emotional and just not very fun, and it's like oh, what is this? It's making me cry. It's it's making me feel things. I'm very concerned about these characters. What's going on? And yeah, that's Logan in general. Just a very not very superhero film, a very different take, and it's just the trailer just did a really good job of making me interested in this film because it was so different than what you expect to see from these trailers. It's like, oh, they're usually so bent on showing you all the action and such. Here, they're showing you the hurtful emotion of the old man Logan and what's going on. So, yeah. Even just again, the cutting to the music, it's a slow beginning building up to just quicker cuts towards the end. That's how I like my quick cuts. Build up to, not just the entire way through.
Yeah, I mean this is an iconic trailer just in terms of selling the tone and what this was going to be. I think it's maybe a little bit similar to the Joker trailer in that sense of like it has to sell something that is within the world of comic book adaptations, but is not your typical superhero punchy punch. Even though Logan has quite a bit of punchy punching, but
Sure.
it's a very different tone and a very different feel to it that it has to
Mm.
sell. And yeah, that it's secretly a western, not so
Yeah.
secretly a western, but
It also does a really a good job at selling the finality, like this is an ending for this character as well,
yeah,
and like
which
this is his one
certain
final
yeah,
adventure. Well, you
certain
get what I'm
new
saying.
developments have kind of undercut that. But yeah, this
I
is
don't think so, but sure.
I'm a little bit disappointed that they're going the direction that they're going because I
I'm
don't know.
not.
This is such a good ending to certain of these characters that it's like
What they're doing is the only way I would have accepted him returning, but
okay,
whatever.
that's fair.
Sure, yeah. I think we're in good hands. Like they know what they're doing. Like especially those two people together. Oh yeah, of course. I'm
Okay.
not worried that they're gonna botch anything with that.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Anyway,
So our
on
number
to number
ones.
one.
Yeah.
Or wait, actually, we should quick do honorable mentions. I just had a couple to rattle off. So the Watchmen teaser trailer, which is iconic, and I didn't put it on my list because that's been discussed many times. But yeah, that was the trailer so good that people went out and bought the comic book and then didn't go and see the movie. But yeah, um, Zack Snyder, I think in general, is makes for good trailers because he has really good visuals and the
Mm-hmm.
story, but the visuals you can sell his films on the visuals alone. And then mention the Mad Max trailers; all of them are pretty good. I love the Comic Con initial reveal, and then also the first sort of teaser. And then also I wanted to shout out a bit of an older one. Well, not older, but older by the standards of this list. The trailer for Sunshine, which is so influential that the music from it is now just generic trailer music. Like if you look up generic trailer music, you will come across this song um, because it is so well utilized in this trailer. Did
I
you
don't
have
really have
any?
any honorable
Okay.
mentions to say. Like all of them I've said throughout this whole podcast.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Number ones then.
My number one trailer is, I mean, just a spectacular trailer. It almost stands on its own as a work of art, just in terms of the tone and the emotion of it. That there's an arc to this trailer. It's the extended trailer to Cloud Atlas, the 5 minutes and 41 seconds. And yeah, how do you sell a film that is six different stories in one film? Well, you make six different trailers in one trailer. This is the idea of Cloud Atlas is these six different stories being told across time, and they have different connections, but it's mainly sort of thematic. And so this trailer has to set up each of these different storylines while also setting up this bigger tone and these ideas that are going to connect everything together. And yeah, it's a full 5 minutes, but it uses those 5 minutes, or I guess almost 6 minutes, so well to set up what's going on and how these characters are interacting, and it it's so good. Again, it's six trailers in one trailer, so how could I not love it? But yeah, and it's showing off again fantastic visuals, fantastic music. The song that plays over the last half of the trailer is outro by M83, and it's just a sort of it makes it feel like this transcendent work of art rather than just a trailer.
So this is of the trailers on this list. This is probably my least favorite one.
Okay.
Um, I think it's way too long. I don't think a trailer should be longer than 3 minutes because 3 minutes is already a really long trailer. This was way too long for me. It just kept going, and I was like, end. End. Stop going. End. I get it. End. Um, and because it's so long, it shifts tones and such. I think the first 2 minutes were the better 2 minutes of this trailer. Just
Okay.
it sets the tone. It's fine. I I felt like they kept going. There was too much dialogue going on, too much going on. And sure, yeah, it's this film is probably a struggle to tone down, but I think they probably just stuck to tone down. Because if I saw this in a theater, I would never watch this film because I would feel like, oh, I've already seen so much of this film. Why would I need to watch the film? Even though I know nothing of the story, I would still think, oh, I've already seen so much because it's so long.
No, this was actually not played in theaters. They actually have a shorter trailer that they played in theaters. But the people behind the film felt that the short trailer didn't do a good job of selling the film, which is, yeah. You say you wouldn't watch the movie based on this trailer. That if you don't like this trailer, you're not going to like the movie.
And that's why I said
So
I was more
yeah,
interested in the
yeah,
first 2 minutes because that was there was a similarity to what was going on, and then it just went off to I have no idea what's going on.
yeah.
So
Which
you
you
could do
haven't
a
seen
thing where
Cloud Atlas,
each
have you?
trailer you could do a thing where each trailer was like a different aspect of the film, so that you're not just putting all of them into one trailer because that would probably intrigue your audience a little bit more. Like each trailer is different. It's like, wait, I thought it was this thing. Why is it this? Huh? What's going on? I don't know.
Yeah, I just again I just find this trailer to be spectacular, and it's the bigness and the boldness of it and how it's juggling all of these different things, and it's somewhat incongruous, but it all kind of works together and becomes something more interesting. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what, again, that's what the film is. I think, again, I don't think you would like the film, so I don't think the fact that you don't like the trailer is, that doesn't surprise me too much. I am kind of like, oh man, I wish you did like the trailer because then I could maybe sell you on the
No, I
movie.
get that. I'm sure it is of course a real shame that this is my least favorite trailer and it's your favorite one of this list. Um, but that's just how the thing went for me.
Yeah.
So
So someday we'll watch Cloud Atlas together, and then you can.
together, no, I'll watch it on my own. I'll just,
Okay,
whenever
okay.
when I feel like it. When I feel like watching 4 hours or
When you feel
something.
like, oh, it's not 4 hours. It's under
I know.
3.
I know. I'm just
There is
saying.
rumors of an extended cut, which I would love to see. Again, I love the trailer because it's so much. I would love a film that is that much as well.
Hmm.
Maybe my favorite Wachowskis film, which is probably
Okay,
controversial because they also did The Matrix. But
of course. Yeah. And so yeah, that leaves us with my favorite trailer of this list, and it's the first teaser trailer for Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Interesting, shocking. Um, this is I have such nostalgia for this trailer because this is my first semblance into Indiana Jones in general. So like I had no idea what this was, and I
yeah,
think this trailer did a decent enough job at showing you, hey, this is Indiana Jones. It starts out with like doing a little bit of a sneak peek of like the older films. It's like, oh, he did this, he did this, he did this. And guess what? His adventure continues and it does a really good job at just showing the better parts of that film. Um, in that it shows you the very good cinematography that it has. There's not a whole lot of the CGI or the refrigerator or the stuff that doesn't work. So this trailer just shows you the best parts, and I resonated with those parts. It looked good. It looked interesting. I liked the cinematography. I think about this trailer a whole lot. In fact, this trailer is really the reason why I decided to do this episode. Um, but yeah, I just think that this is a really good trailer that is the best way to do Indiana Jones in a trailer, not the crap that we got for this latest film. I have no idea what they were doing with that trailer. But yeah, this is for me. This is how you do Indiana Jones in a trailer. Just sell the man and do good.
Now, you didn't like my top trailer. I gotta be
Yep.
honest. I'm not the biggest fan of this trailer. I like aspects of it, but at this point, the whole here's the last entries of the franchise. Aren't you excited? I'm just kind of like, no. And then they play the music, and it's like, again, after the Dial of Destiny trailers, I just kind of have a, I'm so tired of all of this stuff. So watching
Sure.
this was a little bit sort of just,
Yes.
again, it's the worst tendencies of a lot of these like legacy sequels,
Mm,
and especially the trailers. And I definitely understand. I think when it came out, being this was not a common thing,
right.
so it doesn't stand out nearly as much. I hadn't seen this trailer in years, so this is kind of a bit of like a first, like I had forgotten about it. So
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
kind of going in
No.
with different context than you were at
This
the
trailer
time.
would play every time I would, because this trailer was still before the film that came out. It was on the
Yeah.
DVDs for the other films, and so
Okay.
every time I'd watch the other films on DVD, this trailer would play, even though I'd already seen it, and so I'd watch it every time.
Yeah.
Um, even overall, that this film they just did a really good job at trying to sell Indiana Jones, not just in this trailer, but in that time period. Like he was
Yeah.
everywhere. I, I don't know what they were doing this past year. They didn't really sell him for this audience, but um, yeah, of course, like the last Indiana Jones came out in like '89, and so they were like years in between, and they're like, oh yeah, yeah, here kids, is this what your parents liked? Let's get you into this. Um, and it worked for me. But yeah, there you go. These are the trailers that we
Now,
liked.
I gotta say before we move on though that one of the reactions I was not expecting to have to this trailer is, "Wow, Harrison Ford looks so young."
Yeah,
Like him after he does the whip thing when he's sitting in the truck that he crashed into next to the two people. I'm like, wow, he's looking pretty spry there, looking very young and
compared to what we have recently, people were joking. It's like, oh, he looks too old to be doing that. They were saying the same thing when this thing came out. So
yeah. No, little did they know when this came out that yeah.
yeah, I mean, whatever you think about the film, I think that this trailer just has all of my favorite shots of that film. So
Okay. Has
mhm,
some good Kate Blanchett in it. I
sure,
always forget
yeah.
she's in that one as well.
Hmm. But anyway, thank you all for listening. These were our top 7 trailers that we enjoyed. Um, and we have our other podcasts that you can listen to, binging Barbie on all the different platforms. Just whatever, look them up or whatever. I don't care. Um, anything you want to say before we go, Jay?
Yeah, binging Barbie. We're doing our Monster High series right now, so come on over and give that a listen. And again, we did all of the Nolan films. We did all of the Barbie animated films, so you can hear us talk about Barbie and her sisters in the Great Puppy Chase if you want to hear that, or you can hear us talk about Interstellar. We also
Yeah.
talk about that.
In which case, thank you all for listening, and we'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.